Hey everybody, I had such a crazy dream, and I have my psychiatrist is on holiday, so I'm talking to you. No, anyways, I have to share it. Yesterday I was really happy with the live. As I said, the chat is very nice in my little group, in that little group, and then Barney. I like Barney a lot, and it was nice to talk with Barney, and yeah, I'm really glad about it. Yeah, okay, so about my dream. Also, I have to say, regards the live chats, I'm really happy because number one, we can interact more closely to the people, and also it doesn't, because I don't have to make so many videos anymore. Like, are people not noticing that I'm not posting 4 videos a day? It's much more convenient, and also I don't have to go through my phone and delete video. I don't have to do that. It doesn't take memory from my phone. Okay, so I said the good parts about my YouTube journey, my dream. So it's amusing that now I find backgrounds like this when 1 year ago this was mine. I could watch this naturally on the beach. But that's life. Just another comment I had to throw in there. Let's go to the dream. So I'm in Austria in my family's house, and my father is there, and I go to him, and he's fine. He's on his couch, and I ask him, what are you, what's going on? You're alive. And he says to me, yeah, I'm alive. I'm like, well, you can't be alive because you died in 2019. He's like, no, I was sick, but I'm alive. I'm fine. And I start crying in my dream. I'm hysteric in my dream, like hysterically crying, like with no air. I'm like, this is not possible. This is not possible. And my dad just looks at me and he just laughs, he smiles, and he's like, I'm like, this isn't. And in my dream, I can smell him, I can touch him, hug him, and I'm just crying. I'm like, what did mom told me you died. Mom told me you died. She didn't tell me you're alive. And he's like, no, I was sick, but I'm fine. And then I'm like, so that was in 2019. How come we haven't been talking? Why didn't we talk? And he just said to me, you didn't call me. You didn't call me. And then in my dream, I take my mobile phone and I dial his mobile number. And his phone rings and he picks up and says hello, and it's working. And then I start even more crying hysterically. I'm like, I don't understand this. And I'm running outside in my garden and back inside to look at him, and back outside, and then I'm like, okay, so the phone works and I see he's alive, and I want to write my lawyer because my lawyer sent me the documentation of his death and all that. So, and as I want to write my lawyer, that's when I wake up from the dream. I'm just telling you, it's crazy. And to explain to myself, it's probably because the guilt. Because I say, why didn't we talk? And it's because you didn't call me. I always carried the guilt was that, he gave me the bar, and that was his pride and occupation, his business. And he was a very social. He was socially a very social person, just like me. Even you can say social addiction, not a loner person. And at the end, that loneliness, because he sold the bar, he gave it to me, the cafe bar, what you call it. It was more a bar, but also a cafe, the Austrian style. During the day, cafe, and then at night it turns into a bar. And he gave it to me, but of course for me to take over all the bills, and he didn't give me a present or something. Just that I didn't have to invest in the interior, but the interior was 30 years old, so I anyways had to fix up the toilet, and I did have to spend money on that project, on that experience. I didn't make any money, and that's why I quit it after 1 year, because I told him, I'm not earning, and it's killing my main business with the ventilation, because I have to travel and I can't focus. I can't focus on this nightlife, and it's not worth it financially. It doesn't bring in the money, and it's destroying my health. Because as you know me, I like to party and all that. Yeah, it didn't work out for me, and I just told him, I'm sorry, I tried it, but it's not for me. And my dad understood. He was maybe a little bit disappointed, but he understood. And then he just sold it, because he himself was, he's like, he couldn't continue anymore. After he sold it, he was just at home, he was still going to his friends' places and the places he knows and his friends own. But I think it wasn't the same thing for him anymore, because he was always used to hanging out at his places. So I felt a little bit guilty about that. While he was at home, I would always visit him in our house. I would even sleep over. I would do his laundry. I would cook for him. I would go shopping with him, groceries. I would do all of that for him. And I would cook for him and freeze up food so he can just heat it up in the microwave, the food that he likes. So I did the best that I could. That I couldn't be living there with him and take care of him nonstop. He didn't even need that kind of care, but I think towards the end he kind of did. I always considered that my mom's duty, because I didn't ask my family for anything. Everything that I got was built up on my own, from my work. I didn't ask them for anything. Even when I made the company Ideal Vent, I remember I asked my mom, because I didn't dare. I never had a close relation with my dad until I moved to Austria in 2010. Before 2010, me and my dad were like estranged. And I made the company in 2008, Ideal Vent, with the Chinese partner. And I didn't need much to start up, but something. So I asked my mom, can you lend me 2,000 euros? And she said no. She said no. And I said, okay. My mom never, It was silly even for me to ask. And I told my dad afterwards about this, and he said, you should have just come and asked me. And I said, yeah, I didn't have the courage, whatever. But anyhow, I managed it, because the Chinese woman said, you know what, I'll pay in front, and then from future profits, I will deduct your part of the cost. So she was nice, so that was how I managed that one. But I couldn't take care of my dad, and my mom never had to work, and my mom was just living in Bali. She would visit my dad once a year for 2-3 weeks and do her due diligence as a wife, what she considered, and then she would just leave and live her life. So I couldn't take more care of my dad, because I didn't have the time. I did the best I could. And I think that guilt still haunts me in the back, and then the anger towards my mom, and how I couldn't say goodbye to him as he passed, because my mom said, no, he's in the hospital, but he's fine. Today he ate cake. Today he ate pastries. He's doing well. And then after a few days, yeah, your dad died. That's what happened. I'm like, what do you mean he died? I said I wanted to come, and you told me that everything's going good. So yeah, those memories, that's why it's good that I'm talking to a therapist, because you have to deal with these things. They're not easy. They're pretty hard. But I don't mind sharing and talking about it. So yeah, and then people asked me, I think it's also why, because people yesterday in the chat asked me why my mom deported me, and that's how I went to the story about my dad and the death, and about the inheritance, and about my mom. I didn't mention though, she wanted me deported from Bali because she stopped talking to me, and all the people on the island, they know our family. Of course, there's not many on that street, Tanjung Benoa. There's not many white people that have had hotels, restaurants on that street since 1990. Of course, we are known there. The family history, my dad, my mom, and me growing up there, everybody. many of the people that are older, they used to work for my parents, and it's Bali is small, and especially on that street. So everybody knew how my mom was treating me, that I was living in the restaurant because I didn't know when to go back to Austria, what's going on with the lockdowns. Will it open up? Will I open the restaurant, or should I go home to Austria? When can I didn't know anything. It was just, it was just terrible. And that's why mentally I got affected also by this stress. And my mom was losing her face, and in Indonesia and Bali, it's very terrible to not be a good mother or to lose your face. Because of course people were asking her, hey, what about Melissa? You know, she's in the restaurant. What about, you know, everybody knew what's going on. That I was depressed, and that I'm living in a restaurant already I'd lived there for 2 years. So, and of course my mom would want to talk to the people, going on the street, to the supermarket and everything. And people would ask her, what's up with you and Melissa? And she didn't know what to tell them. She couldn't tell them, well, you know, I kind of don't want her to have any of the inheritance, as little as possible, so I just decided to screw my daughter over. Something, she couldn't say that, but that's what she did. That's what she did. And like I said, my first boyfriend, Steve, he knew that. He smelled that already way before. He said, your mom's gonna do that to you. And I said, no, you know, she seems evil, but she's not, you know, she's good. He was right. But let's not dwell on that now. The idea was I wanted to talk about my dream and explain about that guilt that still haunts me or follows me, that I didn't do enough for my dad. And yeah. So, I hope you enjoyed this story. And I hope you guys are having a nice weekend. There's nothing much going on. I cannot talk about anything girl world, something funny, something entertaining. Kamnyan is having a chat. I checked it out, and it's again, you know, look at Foodie Beauty's teeth and just talking and talking, just in order to talk. So if you're bored, you know, it's good. You can listen, and there's a chat. He's doing well. I'm glad for him. He's doing well. As I said, I have no problem with him. I just, like people talk about me, you know, but I also say good things. Nobody really says, there are now people that do say some good things about me, and that's why I'm saying it's going well for me. Not all the people are putting me down as before. Enough. I talked enough. Thanks for letting me let it out. Peace, everyone. Have a good day. Maybe we speak later.